Good evening. Good evening. I'm forgot to charge the camera, so I'm using my cell phone again. I'm just out looking around at things. Not a whole lot changing, other than color. I've noticed the plants got a nicer color to them. I think everybody was a little bit magnesium deficient. I think everybody looks a lot better now. Once a month, I'm going to give them a magnesium soak. I'm trying to develop a routine. I've got little plants, big plants, and all different types of plants, and because I'm in inert media, I think matter of fact, this afternoon, and I need to probably show it on video, I took a couple of my pots and flushed them. Used the rainwater, just clean rainwater. Sure, baby's still doing really nice. It was about 5 parts per million, and I dumped it through, collected it, checked it, and only had about, 27 parts. So I only picked up about 20 parts of whatever was in the gravel. Not a whole lot of anything in there. I checked it on several plants, and it was about the same for almost every single one. So not a lot of reason to flush, other than to make sure that the pots don't start to salt up. Right now, all the pots look pretty good. Every once in a while, I get a little bit of algae on some of the ones that have moss growing on them. I'll get a little bit of algae buildup on them, and I'll clean that off with a Scotch-Brite or something. But other than that, I'm not really having much issue. If I start to get just a tiniest little bit of where I start to see some white buildup on that, I'll flush that out real well. Yeah, it goes away, and it doesn't seem to come back. I wish I could tell everybody my fertilizing routine, but everything's changing. Right when I was getting into routine, it was the end of summer, and then everybody came inside, and it's all changing up again. So, air plants look good. Right now, I'm fertilizing tiny little bits, 100, 120 parts per million every time I water. That agar looks really, really nice. Lots of airflow around here. You can see that plant's just moving because of the airflow. There's always airflow moving in here. I think it's important. That's that Hoya. I'm feeding low amounts, only 100, 120 parts per million, but I feed all the time. And outside, I used to flush a lot just because I could spray them all the time. Every once in a while, I wouldn't put any fertilizer in and just spray them down, and they would just drip down. It would rinse everybody off, flush everybody out. And they get rained on a lot too. I'm not having that same luxury in here. That's a new bloom. What a pretty one that is. That is a pretty one, isn't it? It's kind of common. You see these a lot in the stores. It was on the survivor table. It's a rescues on the rescues. Pretty plant. I figure they're gonna start blooming here soon. I'm not feeding a lot, like I was saying. I'm not feeding a whole lot, so I'm not having to flush a lot. But what little bit I am leaving behind, I want to get it out. I like this. I like the spiking. I'm getting a lot of them spiking, or not spiking. Excuse me, branching. The branching. Can't see with my horrible cell phone here. Sorry, but a lot of them are branching. They didn't have branches before, and when they're coming back out or regrowing, they're branching. I'm not sure what causes that, or if that's part of the fertilizer change I made. I'm not quite sure. But anyway, they're not holding a lot of nutrients, and I'm having to fertilize almost every time I water, and then about every third time, maybe fourth time, I'm flushing. All I'm doing is I get a 5-gallon bucket with about 3 or 4 gallons of water, and I dip everybody in it like I used to do outside, and and I take another bucket, set it next to it, and I dip them down, let them pick up, let them drain. Do that a couple of times, and I set them over to the side. And after I get about 5 or 6 done like that, I bring them in here, put them away, and get another half a dozen and do it again. Doesn't take a little while, and that way they're all cleaned out and flushed. I'll move the brassavola over here. It was getting a lot of wind where it was sitting. Probably didn't hurt it, but anyway, quick peek. Nothing going on really. Everybody's just kind of finding their groove, shaking everybody out still. As things change, I guess I'll show them, but there's not a lot changing. Other than some of them, the ones that are still growing, like this dendrobium with the 30-inch cane on it that won't stop growing. It's just still going. This is one plant that I'm having to let this one soak almost every day, and the reason I am is because the cane is just so big on it. And one of the things I've noticed is all the old canes have plumped back up. They're actually getting really fat. The leaves have rehydrated or standing up real nice on their own. And crazy roots. Crazy roots. It's got a lot of bumps down there, so I'm expecting a cane or something to start popping out. Looks like there might be one down there right now. It's coming out. But it hasn't finished yet. It's still growing on the top. So that's the biggest problem I have with mounts, is not so much the watering. Well, it is watering, but it's not having to water a lot, because I just let them soak real good. When I do water once a week, I let them soak. Now this one I'm watering every couple of days, not every day, but every couple of days, because it's really growing. It seems like the more I water it, the bigger it's getting. This one down here, I believe, is terminating, so I'm cutting back the water on it a little bit, but it's just finishing up, but it doesn't look like it's going to go any further. It looks like it's done. This one looks like it's far from it. But the biggest issue I have with them is trying to find something to put the mount in where you can water it. If you pick a crazy piece of wood, you're going to have issues trying to get that piece of wood down into a container. This one, fortunately, is not that big, wide or anything. I've got a couple of containers, just plastic containers that it slides right down into. I don't need to submerge the entire plant, just the bottom 5 inches, and it's all around the root ball. So, same with this one. It has a little bigger container, bowl. I set it in it. Hydrates just fine, but keep that in mind before you mount something. Some things, like this right here, is I can drop that in the rain barrel, no problem. I'm lucky that I have rain barrels, so if you don't have rain barrels or something of that nature, you may have a problem trying to find something to put that in. It's taller than most pitchers, big drinking pitchers or something, but so you have to use a big flat container. It takes a lot of water to fill it up sometimes. So just keep it in mind. But I'm just out peeking at things. I sprayed a bunch down earlier, so some of them are still damp, still wet. It's 74 degrees at 82, and it's cooling down. 82% humidity. When the other fans kick on here in a minute, when I step back out, it'll drop the humidity down real quick. Tonight, I think it's only supposed to get down to, I think we're only going to probably get down to about 65 in here, I think, this evening. That's what it's been running. Depends on what it gets up to during the daytime. I'm letting it swing up warmer on some days and cooler on some days. More light on some days, less light on some days. It seems to be working. A lot of growth. Everybody looks really good. Like I said, I think the magnesium was something they were missing. I was a little behind on it. I think everybody looks good now. Now, if I just incorporate it into the routine, I don't think I'll be deficient anymore. I think everybody looks pretty good. I've been thinking about this one right here. I'm starting to get black tips on that plant again. And I thought it was phosphorus, and I gave it phosphorus, and it did. It cleared up the color. They got thicker, and the other one stopped getting black tips. But this one, I'm still having a couple little black tips on them. And I'm not positive that's not calcium, beginnings of a calcium deficiency. So I may give that one a little more calcium and see what happens. Actually, I switched them around with this one. Let's see the black tip on it. At first, I thought that was phosphorus, and I still think it was, but I'm still getting a couple of new ones. And it's on the older growth, not the newer growth. It's the older growth doing that, and that's typical of either calcium or phosphorus. And since I know the plant was getting phosphorus, I wouldn't suspect it, but it could still be a little deficient. What phosphorus I've given it's helped a whole bunch. So anyway, they're about due for some CalMega anyway. Have a wonderful evening. Get out and work in your garden. Thanks for watching.